So it's Sunday at 6:45 p.m. So obviously I'm in Chicago, because where else would you have traffic like this on a Sunday evening? I don't know. I don't think there's any. No, the Bears played earlier today. They played at noon. So who knows what's causing this? But other than the fact that it's Chicago, and that's what you deal with all the time. I think they have some of the worst traffic anywhere. Los Angeles is bad, but I think it's actually worse here. So I'm not sure about New York, but it's bad. So the shop that I'm going to now has got Blackjack, Baccarat. They have actually 3 different types of Baccarat, and they have a lot of Baccarat tables, and they have some beatable slot machines too. But so probably not going to play Blackjack here unless I see something really good. I'm mostly going here for the Baccarat. The trouble with Blackjack in the Chicago area is generally the minimums are a little bit higher, and that was fine. I used to play here a lot when I had a bigger bankroll, but now with my limited bankroll, the Baccarat, specifically the side bet, and I'm going to focus just on the Dragon side bet today. Try to see if I can find some opportunities to bet the Dragon. They've got multiple tables with the Dragon bet, and there's 2 types of Baccarat variants that have the Dragon bet, and they both use the same count system. So should be some opportunity. I'm hoping to make a few bets. I'm going to use a little bit of a spread. I'm going to bet 25 if it's just barely favorable. If it's just a little bit of positive EV on it, and if it gets higher to where my edge is even more, gets higher in the count, then I'm going to go up to $50 on the Dragon bet, and we'll see. We'll see if I even get the opportunity to bet it. There's a guy out here panhandling, I guess, for lack of a better term. Anyway, don't give money to panhandlers for a number of reasons, but primarily because I've got a lot of cash on me right now, and I assume most panhandlers are just that, panhandlers. They're nothing to worry about, but on the off chance that I run into the one that's actually using it as a way to mug me for even more money, I don't mess with it. So, all right. So for those of you that don't know about Baccarat, I probably should give a quick explanation about what I'm doing. Baccarat is a somewhat complicated game for the dealer, but for the player, it's really just a simple matter of you either bet that you think the player is going to win, or the banker is going to win, or it's going to be a tie, or you can bet like I am that it's going to be a Dragon or a Panda. This is in a game called Easy Bach, or there's another version of it from a competitor where you have a Fortune 7 bet, which is the same as the Dragon bet. In either case, these are commission-free Baccarat games. In traditional Baccarat, the banker in Baccarat has a slight edge over the player. So because of that, there's a commission that's normally charged when the banker wins. So if you bet banker, you win minus a commission to make up for the fact that the banker has a slight edge. that way the house can still continue to make a profit. Then they developed a version of Baccarat, which is called Easy Bac, where there's no commission, but if the banker beats the player with a 3-card total of 7, then the banker bet pushes. And that 3-card 7 for the banker over the player is called a dragon. Okay, so in Baccarat, the 10s are basically 0. Okay, so if you have a hand like this, and if you can't see that, that's Jack 4 8. Okay. That's read as 2 because you just ignore. So basically, 10s are treated like 0. And then if you have a total of 12, it's really just 2. You ignore the 10s place. You're just looking at the 1s place. Okay? So 22, 12, whatever, is just 2. 13 is 3, 14 is 4. You're just looking at the last digit. So the way it's dealt is the dealer will pull all the cards out. You bet on banker or player. In my case, I don't bet on either of those. When the count gets high enough, I just bet that the dragon's going to hit because the dragon is countable. Okay, I keep track of, and I don't want to go through all the details of it. You can look this up for yourself. But just wanted you guys to have an idea. I'm doing a card count. It's different than regular card counting. It's not high or low. When it gets high enough, I'm going to just bet that the dragon's going to hit. The dealer does all the work. So most of the time, I'm just watching the game. And the dealer will draw for the player first. So one side of the table is going to say player, and the other side is going to say banker. So this is player, this is banker. Let's say this person bet on banker. So assume this is the square for the banker, and then there's a square below it that says player. So he bets on the banker, let's say. Let's see what happens. So the player gets a card, and then the dealer will put another card off to the side. I might be doing this wrong. Both these cards are down. And then, so there's 2 cards for each. Then player goes first. So the player has a 6. Okay? And the banker has a 3. Okay, now, since the player has a 6, the player is going to stand with 6. And since the banker has a 3, the banker has to draw a card. Okay? So I'll draw another card this way here. So in this case, it's 6 to 6. That's a tie. Nobody wins or loses. Okay? Let's do one more and see what happens. Okay? Player has nothing. Banker has nothing, okay? So in this case, it's Baccarat to Baccarat. Baccarat just means nothing in French. Yes, that's right. It's a French game. It's not an Asian game. And a lot of you think it's an Asian game because nothing but Asians play it. Well, not nothing but Asians, but a lot of Asians play it. Anyway, so in this case, they're both going to draw. Player has 7. Banker has 5. So in this case, the player wins. Okay? Banker loses. So, what I'm looking for is a very rare event. Let's see if I could set it up. It would be something like, let's say the player has nothing. That's probably the easiest way that this could happen. And then the banker's first 2 cards are like a 9 and an ace, let's say. Or it doesn't matter, a 9 and a 2. Okay, so now the banker has 1. Okay? Banker is going to draw with 1 and say draws a 6. Okay, I might be putting these in the wrong spot now that I think about it. I think the banker is actually over on this side. I reverse these. I think this is the player and this is the banker. But in any case, it doesn't really matter that much. You should know how the game is dealt, just to make sure the dealer's not making any mistakes. But honestly, with where I play, there's so many people that are playing, and they all know how the game is dealt. If the dealer does something wrong, they're going to correct them. Okay? I'm not really going to have to worry about that. I just trust the dealer knows how to deal the game, and I'm waiting for that dragon to hit. If there's a mistake, it's going to be called out by somebody, I guarantee it. So this would be a dragon. 6 plus 11 is 17, so that's a 7. That's a 3-card total of 7 for the banker that beats the player's total of nothing, or Baccarat. It wouldn't matter if the player... Now, if the player had something else, let's say the player had... the player had a 3-card total of 7. That's a tie. Even though the banker's got 7, and it's 3 cards, it didn't beat the player. So that wouldn't qualify. Or if the player ended up with 8, you know, that's a dragon killer right there. Okay? So as certain cards get depleted, what happens in Baccarat a lot of times is if you get a natural 8 or a natural 9, that stops the draw. So if there's a natural 9 like this on the table anywhere for the banker or the player, there's only going to be 2 cards dealt. Okay? So there's a lot of 10s. All the 10s are 10 and all the face cards are 10, just like in Blackjack. So the 8 and the 9 are important cards because that stops the draw. And basically what I'm looking for is when there's a lot of 8s and 9s that have been taken out of the deck, out of the shoe, then I know that there's a better chance than normal of the dragon hitting. Doesn't mean it will hit, but the odds go up as you remove 8s and 9s because these are the cards that stop the draw. So basically what I'm looking for is, as long as there's a good chance that there's going to be 3 cards dealt, then there's a good chance that I'm going to get a 3-card 7. If you reduce the odds of having only 2 cards for the banker, now you've got 3 cards for the banker, now you've got a good chance of seeing a 3-card 7, or at least a 3-card something. Okay? Could be a 3-card 3, could be a 3-card 5, could be a 3-card 9. And we don't know if it's going to even beat the player. But you're only going up to 9. So a 7 is going to beat the player most of the time. Unless the player has a 7, 8, or 9. That's the only time it won't. And if the player has a natural 7, 8, or 9, then the dealer's not even going to draw. So it would have to be a 3-card 7, 8, or 9 from the player to even set up something like that. So basically by counting the 8s and the 9s compared to the other smaller cards, you get an idea of when the odds are better that the dragon will hit than normal. We'll get back to how I actually did in this session. The way that Baccarat is played in a lot of places is they'll allow people to bet on other people's spots. In other words, the table's full, everybody's sitting there, but anybody can stand behind the table and bet anywhere they want. And that's their bet, and then other people can put their bets on top, and you can bet on any spot you want. And nobody even asks permission like in other places. At this place, everybody just bets wherever. So now the person that's sitting there gets priority. So if the person that's sitting there wants to make a particular bet and it's over the max or something like that, then you can't add to it. But the max bet on the Dragon at this place is $200, and the most that I was going to bet would be $50. And nobody bets more than, like, nobody even bets $50 on it. No, you know, some people might bet 10 or 15. Nobody's going to be betting as much as me on the side bet, usually. Anyway, I should have known better, because the spot that I picked was just the easiest spot to get to. But if I'd have been paying attention, or if I'd have been thinking about it, I would have remembered that earlier, that exact same guy had a dispute with another customer about the tie bet. He was claiming that some of the tie money was his. And this is the guy that was seated in this spot. And he also was arguing with the floor manager about how much money he had been wagering, and he was trying to get extra comp points. And the floor manager was not having it. So this guy obviously is trying to, you know, take shots whenever he can. Well, I bet $30 all at once, clearly bet $30 on the Dragon in the spot that he was sitting at. And he didn't bet the Dragon at all. I don't think he made a bet at all. He might have made a player bet, I'm not sure. But he didn't bet any of the side bets. And the Dragon hit, which a $30 Dragon pays $1,200. And you can't see this on the video, I don't think. But he actually tried to take most of it. He actually tried to give me like $200. And I was like, what? You know, that was my bet. So I took the whole thing, and then he said that the 5 was his. And I'm like, no, the whole 30 was mine. You didn't bet anything on it. You know? And hopefully you can hear the conversation. But anyway, but you know what? My bad for not remembering from earlier, and I should have avoided that spot. There was other places, and then after that I bet it a few more times, and I bet it always on a different spot, and the other people were very good about it, and it seemed like most people were on my side. And there was one particular lady, he was clearly on my side. I want to make sure I got the money. Now, that could just be because maybe she knows him and knows he takes shots. Bottom line is, I got my money. He wasn't going to, like, you know, fight me over it that hard. Both of us at one point suggested having the security, having the surveillance look at it, but that's not going to happen, really. So the thing is, they let people bet on whatever spots they want, but they pretty much wash their hands of it, you know. Maybe that's because it's Caesar's property. They wash their hands of it, you know, like Caesar did. No, just that's a bad joke, I guess. Like Pontius Pilate, you know. Yeah, they wash their hands of it, and it's pretty much up to the players to sort it out. They're not going to get into those disputes. But I was certainly not afraid of that. I knew how much I bet. So, anyway, I won that. And then with the other bets that I made, I ended up making $840 on the Easy Bach game there on the Dragon bet. And then I played some slots where I had an advantage. And I lost 140. So all in all, $700 win total. Did not play any blackjack, but won $700 and spent 4 hours in there. And incredibly slow, but I like the Minnesota Vikings. And they were playing on Sunday Night Football, as you may have saw. So the game moves very slow. I was able to easily keep the count and enjoy the football game at the same time. Okay, so when I left, I had 2 bundles of 3,000 each, so I don't even have to count this because I never even took this out of my pocket. Yeah, that's 3,000. So set that aside. I'm not gonna bother counting it because I only went into the one bundle. I only took out $600. So this other bundle was 3,000, and so I should have 3,700 here. All right, that's 3,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so apparently I counted correctly. $700 profit total. Not bad. I'll take it. Do I kind of feel like I wish I would have just went straight out the door instead of stopping at those slot machines? Well, that's easy to say. But at one point I was up $100 on the slot machines. So instead of $840, it would have been a $940 win, and I would have felt good about that. So the only logical way to look at it is that no, there's positive EV, take the positive EV. That was a known positive EV situation on that slot machine with pretty low risk. So it was definitely worth it. All right, this is going to be my bankroll for the next blackjack trip. So probably won't do a video showing the starting bankroll. So just assume this is my starting bankroll. In fact, I'll probably just bring an even 3,000 with me, because that's all I'll need for blackjack. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to subscribe, put in your comments. I love reading the comments. All right, may the count be with you.